Yeah. Baby, give it up to me. Well, I don't know how you keep me in check when nobody's seeing you. She make me a better father. Misty, that's my lady now. This love won't stop, we go far, yeah. Cause she ain't about that drama. Oh, I love it how you make it easy for me. Tell me I'm not sprung on you, baby. Oh, yeah. Be all about you later. This love is our destiny. No heart like yours could ever love me. I take the battle when I'm lonely, yeah. Baby, I wanna thank you. Beyond thankful. Thank you for your love and patience, yeah. Baby, I wanna thank you. Beyond thankful. That's my girl, I'm forever grateful. What I say, but I don't play no. Cuff me up and take me now, I'm yours. Cuff me up and take me down. Baby girl, lay it down, down. Oh, I love it when I see you, when you come around. Morning to the sundown. Her body looking so wild. Her face so pretty, no makeup. Everything about you so handsome. Me locked in with you forever. Baby, I wanna thank you.
Live TV. Oh man, here we go. Everybody has a cousin-in-law. Yeah, everybody knows that saying. Here we go. Talofa Utah, talofa everybody. Welcome into Budah's Lounge under Everyday People, powered by GetMedCard.co, the easiest and quickest way to get your medical card at the lowest price. Right now it's $70. We got to announce that there is a first event of its kind. You should be proud of your aunt or your cousin. I don't know how y'all really. Well, it's your aunt. You should be proud of your aunt because Everyday People is the official behind the scenes platform. We're going to be able to be at the first ever Canna Fan Fest that's happening August 15th and 16th. And she's going to be the engineer. We're going to be in the green room. We're going to be on the red carpet, and we're going to be able to talk to all of the artists. So
nice. I got to hang out there now. What's up, Nancy?
That's my cousin. But we're also looking for sponsors, and we want to make it make sense. It's an education concert. Edutainment is what we like to call it. Okay. Yeah. For example, Blaze Pizza at a cannabis festival, medical card. Raising awareness, or the Joint Chiropractic. It's just funny. It just sounds funny to me. ULU Spa because it's heady. Okay, maybe that was a stretch, sorry. Maybe that was a stretch. But needless to say, it is the first event of its kind, and it's happening here in Utah. After this year, guys, it's going to go national. So what you want to do is, for all the information, go to www.cannafanfest.com, get educated and get uplifted and get your tickets now. The concert lineup will be announced later this week, okay, or probably next Monday. But again, proud of Cindy and the work that we're doing behind the scenes with Everyday People. Also to everybody that supported us. My guest today is a young man. How old are you? If you don't mind my asking.
43.
Oh my gosh, you are a baby. See, and I know you're probably saying you're up there, but you look great for 43. Let me just say that first.
How much I gotta pay you?
Nothing. We're related. Anyway, part of what we do here is Cindy and I have always talked about this. It's always nice to give people their flowers while they're here. It does you no good to know that you changed somebody's life, that you affected somebody's change and trajectory, and you can't hear it. That's just been my whole thing. I'd like to give people their flowers while they're here so they know they made a difference. Yeah. That's the whole reason why we're having this podcast. So what we'd like to do is talk a little bit about, little bit about family, culture, business, and maybe a few nuggets along the way that might help the future generation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that entrepreneurial spirit, it may be in everybody, but it's not for the faint of heart.
Not of the faint, that's for sure.
So if you don't mind, let's start at the beginning. Inoke, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself. Not like a church thing, but kind of like Polynesians, how we meet each other, and they're always curious if we're related or what island are you from, and also to give flowers to your family. So please tell us a little background and your origin story.
Yeah, so my name is Inoke Niusta. I grew up in Southern Cal, in LA, Inglewood, so to speak, and my grandma was Nati. Her maiden name was Budah, and that's how Cindy and I are related, because Cindy's mom and my grandmas are siblings.
Close relation.
So close relations.
Yeah.
And then my grandpa, he's from Fui, so he's a Finau. And then my dad, obviously my last name is Niu, so he came from the island of Nuku Nuku. So, they've came from the islands to America trying to make a dent and, trying to get out here to give us a better life. And so when we grew up in LA, it was more like the first generation, right? We grew up from humble beginnings and try to make $1 out of 15 cents, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, we grew up there, humble beginnings. I obviously went to school out there after I went on a church mission, came back, really kind of got involved in sales and marketing. So that's kind of been my niche, is sales and marketing. And
on the mission, you got sales and marketing.
Yeah, so I went on a mission. Yep. That's true, man. It's, you want from door to door and trying to teach
That's
people.
That's the best, I'm telling you, best training ever, bro.
So from that point, it taught me a lot of things on my mission. Yeah. So when I got home, a lot of people said, well, you have the gift of gab a little bit. So they tell me, maybe you should get involved in sales and things of that sort. So it's funny because the longer I kind of went through sales and marketing, things of that sort, you start looking back at your ancestry, right? As far as my grandfather, who was an entrepreneur in Tonga, Myla Niu.
Really? What was Grandpa's hands in?
So he was involved. He was very entrepreneurship. He graduated with a high degree in Tonga, also went to school in New Zealand and college. He accomplished a lot. And then he came back to the islands of Tonga, started a taxi company. He had different companies and actually was wealthy. He had a movie theater and was actually, way back in the days.
He was one of them cats.
He was one of those cats, yeah. And
really quick, I don't want to cut your story off short, but I got to ask you right here now, knowing that, how does that make you feel, knowing that Grandpa hustled all those years ago and they didn't have the resources that we have today?
I mean, for me, it's almost like, man, no pressure, right? Because we have all the resources, so really no excuses, right? Back then, they had to figure it out. They had to, everything was more like trial and error, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like I'm blessed today because I have the resources. You have all kind of, from social media to YouTube, whatever you want to do, you have at your fingertips, right? Yeah. You just got to do it. And for them, they just did it without having those resources. For me, it's inspiring, right? So, from that point, he had all kind of businesses. My grandfather, on my mom's side, he was a landscaper, so he's an entrepreneur. He came from the islands, really gave everything up to come out here. And I remember when I was a little kid, he used to take me out to go mow the lawns and weed and, as far as
You're a Yate kid, Yate University. Oh, shit.
And do all that stuff. And, at the time when I was growing up, as a little kid, I didn't want to do it. So, he tried to make little excuses here and there. And so, every morning he would, hey, come pick me up. And I'd try to hide a little bit, you know what I mean? Try to say I don't got shoes, you know what I mean? Find every reason why I shouldn't go out there. And he solved every excuse and brought old shoes, whatever I needed. He eliminated it. So I think just all across the board, man, that's just kind of me, who I am. I've been in sales and marketing, and that's really been my background.
But also, you got to give props to your family as well, your siblings, because usually that spirit may rub off on one or two of the kids, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like everybody in your family got that spirit. I mean, it's close. Grandpa's the one who did it. So congratulations that you're keeping a legacy alive, and he's been doing it. Is Grandpa still with us?
No, he passed. I never met my grandfather. I was 3 when he passed away. Yeah. So he passed away in the islands, and I was over here. So I never met him, but I heard stories of him.
Yeah, usually these questions come at the end, but I figure, let's hit it. What would you think Grandpa would say, knowing where you're at right now? And we haven't even talked about the business yet stuff, but knowing your journey, Grandpa looking down, tell me, what do you really think Grandpa would be feeling right now?
I think he'll be feeling proud to know that what he started, the legacy is continuing on. And I think that if I didn't do it, it'd be a disservice of everything he did.
Man, I didn't even think about that. That it could be a disservice if you didn't try, or at least try.
At least try,
right?
Yeah.
But to have all this, man, congratulations. I really appreciate you telling that story. Could I ask you, growing up in Southern California, what was the reason for moving to Utah? Did you have a warrant like everybody else?
No,
Wow, you were really slow to answer that. I just was trying to catch you.
Honestly, I didn't really want to move to Utah, to be
really?
honest. Yeah, I got off my mission, and I actually had a cousin, Jared, who lives in Vegas now. He had talked me into moving to Utah, and after serving the mission out for 2 years, I'm like, why would we go back to Utah for?
Yeah.
Like, I'm an LA kid, I'm good, you know what I mean? And so when I went back, he was like, no, just try it out, just come out here instead of the mission life, try the outside life and come out here. So, he talked, it was like maybe 5, 6, 7 months, somewhere around there. He ended up talking me into it. We moved out here. And a little later down the line, I met my wife at UVSC at a dance. And luckily I did, because the rest was history, right? So that's really how I ended up in Utah, because I really had no interest coming back.
Are you trying to say those dances work? Come on, man.
Shit. Back in time when I used to boogie,
What was the song?
Huh?
What was the name of the song?
Backyard Boogie.
Oh, wait. You really are a Southern Cal kid. Most guys would be slow jam. Not the Southern SoCal kids. We backyard boogie. I like
backyard
that.
Boogie.
Can I ask you about, because growing up in LA, you got prolific rappers, and they talk about the gang life. They talk about the quick money. Were any of those trappings, or sports, was any of those trappings available for you? Those opportunities or trappings available for you?
Back then, it's like, I feel like it's like what Too Short said, where you got to get in where you fit in, right? So you have to try to figure life out, try to figure out what you're going to do with life, right?
Yeah.
Because at that point, we didn't have the YouTubes growing up. We didn't have those resources, when I was in high school and all that. So you have to figure out kind of your pathway, right? So I think, when you're growing up, you're around, the Polynesians out there. And from that point, you're just trying to figure out, hey, what's the next hustle, right? Or, how can we make some money, or
right?
Where do you go make money? And then finally you go get a 9-to-5 job, and you're like, man, this is not the life. I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? You're working all these hard hours for some chump change, right? So there's got to be a better way, and that's when going back to like kind of digging in and looking at people before me, right? Where do I draw the line, or do I go backwards, right? So do I collect and go and get the $200, or do I go backwards and not collect the money, right? So for me, you had to start playing some little Monopoly.
You play dominoes?
Yeah,
it sounds like you play dominoes. What do they say about money? All money?
All money's good money.
Oh. We're from SoCal, bro. We're from SoCal. Sorry. All right. No, it's so refreshing to hear that you had a motive, you had inspiration behind your movements. It wasn't like, let me go try this. And I think having the confidence that Grandpa did it with no resources probably gave you even more of that confidence having the resources that you have today, right?
For sure.
So the gang life sounded like didn't speak to you. That wasn't your hustle. None of that spoke to you?
I think at the end of the day, bottom line, it's like I said, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? And I think that, like I said, all of us growing up in LA, everything was around you, right?
Yeah.
So I think, at that point, it was more like, man, when you grow up poor, you're trying to figure out how to get up and get to the next life, right? I've been through hard times. I've been to the point where, you didn't have food on the table, right? You have to go home, you have to go to bed hungry, or it'll be your utilities go out, right? Because you don't have the money to pay utility, and you have to get candles in your home and light the candles to be able to, survive for 2-3 days until your parents can make the payment to turn the lights back on. So when you go through all these hardships in life, those hardship carries on you, right? Because at the end of the day, my thought process for my kids is that I don't ever want my kids to have to go through what I went through, because that's a tough life, right? To be able to know that you didn't have food at times, you didn't have utilities, or you didn't have cars, you ran out of gas, and you have to call someone, hey, can I borrow $1 or $2 to be able to put gas money in my car? So these hardships, I think, built me to the person I am today, because without the hardships, I don't think.
Can I ask about the rearing of your kids? Only because there is this a debate and conversation where some people think we might be too soft on kids today, and so they get away with quote unquote murder. They get away with a lot of stuff that we probably couldn't get away with, and they're soft. I don't want to be abusive. I mean, I know some of the stuff that we were raised on, the laying on of hands, spare the rod, spoil the child, that kind of thing. But we're educated now. We know what punishment can be a positive experience. You don't have to spank a child, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. I went through the Bible in one hand and belt in the other, and it made me the way I am.
Yeah.
Do you as parent, when you're parenting kids, do you think about that? Do you ever think about when people say to you, "Man, we're making our kids too soft"? How do you approach that as a parent?
I think it's just the way you're bringing them up, because if you teach them discipline, you teach them life, right? You have a conversation with the kids, because I have 6 kids, and if you look at my oldest 2 kids, I have a son that plays football for Oklahoma, and another kid that plays football just committed to Oklahoma State. And if you ask me, how did they get to that point? Was I soft on them? No, I was tough on them, because at the end of the day, if you're hard on somebody, that means that you love them, right? You're doing it out of love. And I think the minute that for me, I feel like the way I grew up, I didn't grow up soft. I mean, in LA, like you can't be soft.
You can't be soft.
You gotta be hard and have that mentality of you won't be denied, right? So I taught my kids mindset, discipline, going after what you want, and really kind of motivated my kids. And if I caught them slipping a little bit in regards to like not working out, I call them out. Like at the end of the day, like, do you want this, or do you want to, go work a 9-to-5 job and break your back even more, because you have an opportunity at your hand. So there's a lot of moments, but is there tough love? Absolutely, right? You got to be tough on your kids to be able to see them through. Yeah.
But also with how, like we were talking about when your ancestors were being successful with the resources they had. They also were given a playbook on how to rear their kids. That's all they get. Yeah. Whatever they were given, that's what they dealt with. We now have resources that we can better adjust to our kids and how to rear them. So it sounds like maybe, and again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe it is tough love, but you're tempering it with love and kindness.
Yeah, find a little balance, man. At
balance,
times,
yeah.
And I feel like times where where I lack a little bit with some of the, the love and all that, my wife kind of comes in and compensates for it, because I'm a go-getter. So sometimes, I put the pedal to the metal. And, you know what I mean? And I'm like going for 100 miles an hour down the freeway, right? Just going full speed. And then sometimes my wife's like, hey, you got to remember, they're trying to catch up. And so I think for me, is really, me and my wife is great, because I'm more of the tough and she's more of the love. And there's times where, as a father, you have to show them or tell them you love them and you care about them, right? Because, you don't want them growing up like my father was just always hard on me, this and that. But now my kids see why I was hard on them, because now they're living kind of on a high level where they're getting the publicity, but at the same time, their future's already set up.
Well, right? Their hard work is paying off. I want to say, just hearing what's going on with your kids, to me, that just means, you know, it's like when you're a kid and you're sitting home and everything your dad told you worked out. You're like, you have no other choice but like, man, that fool figured it out. God dang, man, my dad was smart. Dang it. Right? So whatever it is, you're right. So I congratulations, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're definitely, sounds like you are your son's heroes in their eyes. So for sure.
I hope.
And their mom, it's a lot of dedication. I hope they remember all those practices that mom and dad took you, all those oranges, peels, the slices that they had to do for those snacks. So
all the motivational talks in the car after the game.
Yes, yes. Let me.
What did I tell you about this play? I told you this. We spoke about this.
Just so we're, size 2X hoodie, some college swag.
I got you. Don't even try.
Thank you for bringing up to me. So let's take a break here. Thank you for sharing parts of your life. I think we're at a good point where we could take a break. And the whole reason, again, we started this was so that we can give people their flowers. I want to come back and talk about the business that you and your sister and your wife, you're into, and where did the idea come from? And it's being done on purpose, intentionally. And let me explain that. Most people, they're in the hair business And then the secondary factor is the relaxation and the mental health, where I think you guys are flipping it. You come here for the mental health, and you're using these exercises and these techniques or modules, if you will, to help people. Am I in the right lane at least?
You're in the right lane, yeah.
Okay, that means don't listen to me. Come back. We'll let the expert explain his life. Don't move us on.
I'm just a person that my wife and my sister tells me to go do something, and I just go do it.
Sounds like you're tonguing.
You just do what you do.
We'll be right back.
Saved up a couple $1,000. Got a girl that he's dying to go and pick up. She'll steal his heart on that old bench seat. He'll wanna lay the world right there at her feet. I can see him smiling ear to ear when he reads these words right here. This truck will get the prettiest girl in town, sitting right beside you when you're riding around. It's got a pretty good radio.
Hello, welcome back into Buddha's Lounge under Everyday People. We are speaking with Inoke Niusta. He is the, can I say owner and co-founder?
Yeah.
Of ULU Spa? Yep. Owner and co-founder of ULU Spa. If you're Tongan or Samoan and you say ULU meaning head, yes. Ulu meaning breadfruit? No, that's a different kind of ulu. But yes, so I love, first and foremost, I'm gonna say, man, I love the name that you paid homage to our culture and our language by naming that. Whoever named it, thank you. Thank you so much, Noki, for calling it the Ulu, is it? Head Spa. Okay. Yep. Now here's the thought I had when I was researching the business. I thought to myself, I love that this is done intentional. Meaning, when I encounter barber, hairstylists, and barbers, they would often talk about people come in to get their hair styled because they want to look good and feel good. The secondary benefit is that mental health and that feeling of looking good, feeling good, right?
Yeah.
That's the secondary thing. In your business, as the way that I've been reading it and understanding it, you're coming there for that feeling first. And then whatever happens, whether it's I was thinking, man, I don't have any hair, so would they pull my hair? Would they tickle me with a feather? and then the angel in me said, Tole, that's a different kind of shit. Don't even. So I didn't want to speak for you, but to me, it sounded like you were doing it on purpose and you wanted to start here where the brain is at. Because I want to say brain is like mom in the family. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Yeah. So if the brain ain't happy and relaxed and functioning well, then everything else isn't going well. But if your brain is happy and functioning well, guess what? Everything's firing off on cylinders. Explain, please help me, educate me.
Well, I mean, at ULU Spa, it's one of those things where, number one, people come in and get their scalp, as far as, the health and condition, shampoo, and all that stuff to be able to get their scalp looking right and helps with the, preventing hair loss because of the follicles and all that stuff. My wife is a cosmetologist, so all these things I learned from her. But the other part of it is really the mental side of it, as far as being able to alleviate the stress. And because, as being Polynesian, man, I grew up where you can't really express, the way you feel, or, sometimes you carry the stress on your head, your shoulder.
Yeah.
And, when your parents say you do something, you do it. But, whether it's stress from holding everything within because everything is bottled up in you, and or whether it's stress at work, or maybe you got an argument with your wife, or whoever, or maybe just daily stress you're dealing with, right?
It still happens today. Polynesian men, and again, I only know because we're Polynesian men. I can only speak about what we think about. Why is it we only want to go to the doctor when it hurts?
When it hurts.
When it hurts. I'm fine. I know the symptoms. I can feel it coming on, but it's not. The cow just got me again.
Yep.
You know, until the pain. Why is that a cultural thing?
I think it's a culture because I think we grew up and we were taught to be tough, right? And I think any type of sign of weakness, like you don't want to expose that because
chink in the armor.
People calling you out like, oh, he's weak, or you know what I mean, like, oh, that. I think that's what, you know, how I grew up is more like you don't talk about it, like you go through pain, you just go through it, you know what I mean? And I think we need to normalize taking care of yourself because you can't get to the point where, you know, where it's too late, right?
Yeah.
Or
that's the real message. Self-care. That's actually what you guys are preaching is self-care.
Self-care. And I think for you know, when this whole idea was brought to me, I think back in December or January, I was actually in the kitchen washing dishes, you know, trying to do something nice for my wife. And she's talking to my sister. You know, I got to get that on camera, right? I got to document that. But when I was in the kitchen, I was washing the dishes, and then she was talking to my sister. And my sister like, hey, you know, whatever they're talking about, she asked, you guys have a head spa in Utah? And my wife was like, well, what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
And we didn't even know, you know, because she was just talking about it, and she's like, well, it's really big here in Arizona, and then also in Las Vegas. And then when she started telling us what it was, and then, you know, my wife got excited because she's been doing hair for about 20 years. Yeah. And she wanted to pivot because she wanted something new. Was it new to her? Being a cosmetologist, was it new to her? It was new to her.
Wow.
Because she's always so used to doing like the hair, the coloring and whatever they do with that stuff. And so she came to me and she's like, hey, I got an idea, blah, blah, blah. She told me about it. And then from that point, you know, I looked how passionate she was, how she was very adamant. And then finally we got it done. And she's like, let's just go try an appointment out. And for me, being Polynesian, I'm like, man, I don't know. That sounds like that's more for women than it is for men, right?
And who's going to touch you? Who be touching you? Right.
Then for me, and I look at it, she's like, no, men do it too. And I was like, are you sure? Because, you know what I mean, that's not, for me, it wasn't normal.
You're going to take my man card away?
Yeah.
Shoot.
For me, it's like to go get self-care, right?
Yeah.
And so anyways, she's like, no, let's just go. So she set up an appointment to go try it out. And finally I went and walked in, and I was like, you know, I asked the question, like, do men do this as well? And she's like, oh yeah, we have men come in there all the time. So when she had normalized that, I'm like, well, maybe I need to look at things differently to be able to say that I need to prioritize myself, to be able to, number one, you know, take care of myself and get my scalp healthy, right? And number two, the relaxation part of it. Because I feel like, you know, we go through all the stress, and for me, being a father of 6 and being the main provider for a family, because my wife is a stay-at-home mom, like I have to go each and every day and wear the hat to go provide for my family, right? So I carry a lot of stress for me to carry my whole family on my back. And then finally, when I went and got it done, by the time I was done with the hour session, it was amazing. I walked out, no more, all the stress left my body. I was like, man, I was ready to go conquer the world. And I'm like, really? Why did I know? Wow. I didn't know how much I needed it until I went and got it done.
Until you went and got it done. Were you saying to yourself, why didn't I do this sooner? Because that's usually the tell sign, right?
And I'm like, where was this men? Because, you know, I think, to kind of go back for it, like, I feel like men, we don't have an outlet. We carry, like, especially Polynesian.
Not good ones.
Yeah, we carried everything inside, and sometimes, like, just depending on the outlet, right? Mm-hmm. Some people have different outlets, but what a better way to have a great outlet to be able to, number one, you know, get your scalp worked on, you know, get the massage and really work on de-stressing, right? As far as like, because all that stuff from like where we carry our stress from our head down to our neck.
It makes so much sense.
Like that day when I went and got it done, I was sold, and that's when I said to my wife, like, you know what? I usually don't hop on things like this, but I feel like men need.
This is a great time to be talking about this. Well, one, self-care is always important, right?
Yeah.
But Father's Day is right around the corner. I would challenge everybody that's watching to please share, like this video with someone, and maybe the gift this year, instead of a tie, instead of giving dad a headache with your tie again, give him the gift of med spa. Will you guys be open? Maybe not. You won't be open around close to Father's Day because that's really close. I don't know when you guys open.
Yeah, so we were gonna do a soft launch around the week of June 15th. We're gonna have an early access.
Oh, in 2 weeks almost, right?
Yeah, and then from
yeah.
So we do have gift cards you can purchase for your fathers.
That is Father's Day weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So from that point, you can purchase the gift cards, and then from that point, bring them in. We'll take care of your dad.
Yeah.
And make sure. Yep.
I wouldn't even say come with him because of our dads are. Sometimes you'll drop them off and they don't go in.
Yeah.
Come with them. Do the appointment with your dad. Right? Can they do that?
Yeah. Because I can tell you, once they do it, it's one of those things where you want to come back and keep doing it because it's such a relaxed environment. Because you go into like the little room. I mean, you're pretty sure you've seen it on the website, but there's a bed, there's a little sink, so you lay down, and then from that point,
there's like a mirror go up and people watch you.
No.
Oh, sorry. No. I mean, like your family members. Are they there? Can they be with you inside?
So we will have like a group room or like a couples room.
Got you.
So if you want to come in and do it like with a couple, or you're just coming in just to bring your dad, or it doesn't matter.
You'll customize the experience for each individual.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
But
sorry.
it's cool because you lay down in the bed with the sink, right? And then from that point, they're working on your head, shampooing, conditioning, massaging your head, doing the pressure points and all that.
Yeah.
And then from that point, they do your hands, and then we have an add-on where you can do your feet as well.
You see me ain't got no hair, right? I mean, you said shampoo like 3 times, man.
Trust me, my wife's dad is bald as well. And she did a treatment on him, and he said that he's traveled the world and got massages and everything. He said this is one of the best ones he's had since he's traveled, and I'm telling you, like, whether you have hair, whether you don't have hair, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try it.
So I'm telling you, like, it'll change your life.
If I go on and follow your website or become a fan of your Instagram page, do I jump on a email list and can I get specials and behind the scenes kind of stuff?
Yep, you can put your email and everything in, and then from that point we can update you with specials or announcements or things that are going on that you may want to pay attention. I could also give you a little bit of discounts and get a scalp package treatment.
As I said, when we were talking about bringing on the show, it really was about the self-care. Last month we just finished AAPI month, right? You still Polynesian? We're still Polynesian. It's June. I know our month is over, but we're still Polynesian.
We're still Polynesian.
In June.
In July, in August, September, October.
We're still gonna pee. We're still gonna pee. But here's the thing about that I'm understanding about what you guys are doing, especially for the caretakers, right? If you're a caretaker, whether you're a father or mother, or maybe you're taking care of your mom or your dad, they're older right now, and you have a lot. You're in charge of their care. It's hard to really pour from an empty jug. I heard that from a lot of people that have been on here. This sounds like a really cool, fast way to refill that jug so that you are okay with yourself and everybody else around you. Can you talk a little bit about that? That really is the self-care. It's so important to the detriment of others. I know you're there for yourself, but really you're there because you want to be better for others. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think really self-care really opened my eyes when we were in the pandemic. Because, when you start realizing that people you knew were passing away that you cared about and then all these things were happening, right? You're just like, man, at one point you're trying to save a life for your family, right? And, it was such a hectic time where I realized that if I didn't take care of myself, how can I take care of my family? Ooh, it goes hand in hand, right? Yeah. Because if you're trying to take care of your family but not taking care of yourself, at some point when you don't take care of yourself, you're pretty much going to clock out, right? And I think for me, it was one of those things where I had to be able to figure out ways to be able to, number one, really start exercising, eating right a little bit, trying to get to the point where I'm being healthy and all these things where the self-care became such an important thing for me. Because in order for me to be a better father, better provider, better person, and be present for people, right, I had to take care of myself. And ULU Spa was such a great outlet for people to do that, because when you're going through life, or whether it's Daily stress all the way down to, hey, I just need some relaxation. I just need to be able to go and just reset. Then it's a great way.
Oh, that's a reset. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a great way to be able to come in and get your work on getting your scalp healthy, but also the relaxation and really just having that stress and all the all that leave.
Bro, I'm hearing you fill a gap, and I don't know why I didn't think about this before. See, in the islands, there is, I remember this all the time, in the evenings, where there's a bunch of us in the village just napping. We're resting, and that's a recharge. That's at that moment. Now I understand that was our only recharge, our only reset. We didn't have this, and it wasn't until you got injured that you went and got the oil and you did the fotla, right? Until it got serious. When it got serious, then you got there. But there's all these things that you could do along the way that could probably alleviate some of that stress.
Yeah.
Because
you realize, if you think about stress causes a lot of, sickness or diseases, because when you carry so much stress, you're not taking care of yourself. It can lead to other things. That's one of the things where I started reading up and studying on them. I didn't realize that stress plays a big factor in a lot of things.
I know in minorities, the stress level adds more to your blood pressure.
Oh yeah.
And then your diet and exercise, all those things factor in. Can I ask you this, but only because this is the Fio Poco in me coming out. Do you have any numbers, any statistics that we can share with people that show, here's, maybe this is what your blood levels are before you come in, and we have studies that show after a treatment, it significantly lowers your blood pressure, it's significantly low. Do you have any studies like that?
Well, because I'm not medically licensed, so I can't really... But as far as statistics wise,
it's not a cure. Okay, it's not a cure, but you're helping with symptoms.
Yeah, and okay. In regards to that aspect, because I can only speak for people that we've treated or as far as gone in, but we haven't had one person that left that didn't know exactly. They're like, nope, I've never had an experience like that in regards to like relaxation. We had some people that came in, did some pilot tests for us just to make sure that, hey, we want to make sure that what we are doing.
It does what you guys say it does.
It does what it says it does, right? Because you don't want to be the person that like, oh yeah, I just come in and be a money grab. That's not who we are, right?
Yeah.
Like we believe in making sure that we do business right, but at the same time that the results we're delivering makes a difference, right?
You're affecting change for sure. Yeah. Real change.
Real change.
I want to say even challenge bring a skeptic.
Yeah.
And you got, but here's the thing: if you're gonna come and you're gonna be a skeptic, you got to be really open to letting go, to letting loose, and really being in the experience, right?
Yep. And talking about skeptic. My wife had an uncle from St. George, very successful business person, right? Traveled the world. Obviously retired, has a beautiful home. Very, opinionated when it comes down to things that he's doing, right? So he came up and he's like, hey, I know you have a spa up there. I want to come and try it out. And, he's just telling my wife, like, hey, come on in and let us know what you think, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I'll come in. I'm going to tell you my true opinion.
Okay.
And, we were like, okay, no pressure, right? So when he went through the whole process of the our signature scalp massage package, by the time he was done, he got up and he told my wife, like, this is one of the best things I've had. And he said, obviously, I felt like the best I felt. Like he was ready to go out and like, man, his experience and how he felt after was night and day difference. And he's like, I've been out of the country all the way down within the U.S. And he's very particular. He said, but if I had to have something, I'd rather them focus on my head, my shoulders, and all that, which is exactly what we did. So, skeptic, right? If when we got the pass and the green light for him,
you knew it. You had something.
We had something rolling. So
wow.
Yeah. So we had many different.
I love those stories, bro.
Yeah, we had many different people come and pilot test for us just to make sure before we opened. And I'm telling you, the people that we've had treated, as far as like the scalp treatments and all that, if we were to bring them in, I should have been able to show, have them come in and share their experience going through the pilot test, and that way they could tell you versus us saying, hey, come try it out, right?
And then you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I'm sure, even though I know this, there's a lot of people out there trying to find things to relax, to recoup, to reset faster, but they want to do it without, a detriment to their health or their mental capacity, right? This sounds exactly like something everyone needs to try. Where can I go to learn more information? Maybe even book an appointment. Is that part at least up in preparation for June 15th?
Yeah, so we will be launching out a booking link actually soon, because with the week and a half or 2 weeks out, you guys can, it'll be on our social media. So we are on all platforms from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, well, X, I should say. So we're on all the social platforms. And then you can go to our website at www.uluspa.com. That's ULUSPA.com.
It's a great name. Obviously, I'm biased a little bit with the name of the business, but what about merch? You know, can advertisement, that kind of stuff. Where can we? Right now, I know you only have the one spa that you guys are going to open up in Provo County.
In Pleasant Grove,
Pleasant
Grove, Utah.
What are the chances of maybe? And I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but maybe some other locations, and maybe up and coming employees. Yeah, you have any spots open for new employees?
Yeah, so we are hiring for a cosmetologist.
Licensed.
I should say licensed cosmetologist. Yeah,
because our people. I was got a hair. I can do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we're hiring for that. That's one of the things where, this is such a new lane for cosmetologists. And, once they do it, they fall in love with it. My wife, Lily's passionate about it now.
Do you need any kind of special training? Will you guys provide that training?
We will provide training. We'll provide everything in regards to everything down to what you have to do in each of the packages. So we have a 30-minute, a 60-minute, 75-minute, 90-minute package.
Oh, hell, you can't wake me up, bro.
Yep. and majority of the people has fallen asleep. So if you can stay awake during your treatment, let me know, and I have to give you a prize or something.
I don't think it's possible, man.
Because halfway during that treatment, you're like literally, it's lights out. Like by the time you wake up, like you're just like. Well,
and don't fight it too, because you guys end up with those ugly faces, like trying to keep your one eye open.
Yeah.
No.
But we are hiring for cosmetologists right now, because I know with a lot of traction and people that's reached out to us, I know we will need a little bit more help in regards to making sure that we can train them right to fulfill the services to give you guys what you want.
It's not even now that I've learned about it from you, it's not even a man-woman thing. It's a human thing.
It's a human thing.
It's a self-care thing. That's really great. Again, recommendation, because you've tried it. How often should I go to keep myself even keel, maintain, as far as your experience is concerned? How often do you go?
I mean, if you want to go once or twice a month, that's good. It just depends on how often you feel you need it.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. You could go too if you feel the urge, feel the need.
You feel the urge, yeah. If you feel the need, you can also book. So from that point, if you're just going because maybe you're scalp, but you want to go for the relaxation part of it, it's just such a great thing that I try to tell my wife that every day when I'm stressed out, like I need a treatment. So, but she, obviously I get the husband treatment. She's like, hold up, you gotta wait.
Sorry, it's really odd. I see a man that's man needs no good. Oh, sorry, I need a treatment. What?
Yeah, she looking at me sideways. I'm like, I'm just saying that I need the self care. I believe in self care.
So you don't drink kava, but you go to get a head at the ULU Spa.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So.
Or you drink kava and go to. Sorry.
You drink kava, you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry. Why cancel one out?
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
You've got to get the full relaxation part of it, you know what I mean?
Just wanted to make sure it's there.
Yeah.
In closing, you like I said, it's been in your blood. It's a legacy that you're carrying on from your mom's family, your grandpa. You're carrying on this legacy of being a successful entrepreneur. What are some nuggets that you can leave behind? What does your legacy look like? It sounds like your kids are doing well. They're taking those life lessons you've instilled in them, and they're in their college athletic career right now. But if you wouldn't mind, what does your legacy look like?
I mean, as far as for entrepreneurship, or
leaving behind for your kids and future generations to learn.
I'm just trying to teach my kids that if you don't be afraid to chase your dreams, because so many people they talk themselves out of it, and they would never have known how great they could have been if they would have tried it. And it's like what Michael Jordan said: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So
Facts.
Take the shot. And entrepreneurship is not easy, but nothing in life is easy. you got to choose your heart, because not doing things is hard, right? Going to 9 to 5 or going through life is hard, or entrepreneurship is hard, right? Choose your heart and choose what results is going to give you the better results, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, is being entrepreneurship is don't quit, keep pushing until you get to the finish line. And that's why there's less, there's that less percentage of people that make it, because they never gave up.
Don't give up.
So don't give up and go chase your dreams, and go as far as you can go to chase to get the results you want in life.
What is it about being Tongan or Polynesian that you bring to the business side that you probably wouldn't have known if you weren't Tongan? Like the mana, for example, as people talk about the mana, what's something specifically from your Tongan culture that I bring that and I'm applying it to this business world and I'm killing it?
Well, I think in the Tongan, I think we and I learned this from my grandparents on my mom's side, as far as had that lotolahi, you know what I mean? Like as far as that, that like you won't be denied, right? And I feel like no matter what, if someone would have told me and would have said he had to do all these things, right, I would have been confused. But if someone said, hey, just do this and get started and just keep going until the job is done, right, then you just do it. Because at the end of the day, we have that warrior blood, right?
Yeah.
That's all in the Polynesian, where it comes in our DNA, right? So I think because we have that warrior blood in us, I think it's really just having that won't be denied mentality, having that mindset that, our ancestors sacrificed everything to come from the islands, right? To give us a better life. So how are we honoring our grandparents, and what are we doing with that opportunity to be able to show them our appreciation for what they've done to give us this opportunity in America, right?
Man, I can feel, I hope whatever you believe in, I hope Grandpa gets a chance to see and peek down and see that you guys are carrying the name and the legacy, man. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you so much for being a light, not just for our people, but for anybody who's a struggling entrepreneur in today's world. In closing, only because, we're family now, if you were to be a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be and why?
No, I think I would be a mango, because I don't know, I just like otai.
And with that,
you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think mango, because at the end of the day, you got to have the, it's hard on the outside, so you have to, have that tough shield, but at the same time, it's that tough love, right? Just the sweetness inside, so it's that tough love, so.
Don't let the sweetness fool you.
Don't let the sweetness fool you, you know what I mean?
Doge, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'd love to catch up with you. And maybe as it gets closer to the grand opening, maybe we can do a via FaceTime call with you. And,
please, yeah.
Help you with the grand opening. Really quick, please go get all the information. Again, it's the first event of its kind. www.canafanfest.com. They're looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor the green room, if you want to sponsor the consumption room. Yeah, you heard me. Again, powered by getmed.card.co, the easiest and quickest way to get your medical card. Right now, it's $70. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, Friday morning for Everyday People, Pacifica chapter. If we help one person tonight, then we've done our job. As we like to say every day on Everyday People in Budah's Lounge. Please be kind. Have a good night. God bless.
Appreciate
good
you
night.
guys.
All right, throw your T's up. Curl your S's.
Later.